Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Policino. Welcome to the real world of real estate. Today, we're going to talk about a real estate agent salary, how to create a predictable income in real estate, just like a salary. So here's a quick intro and we'll chat with you in a little bit. Hello, welcome back. My name is Sean Policino and welcome to the real world of real estate. Today, we're going to talk about real estate agent salary, how to create one, a predictable income in real estate, just like a salary. Today, I'm going to share some strategies that I believe are key, some skills that are required to make your real estate income consistent and predictable. If anybody's looking for a magic pill, this would be the magic pill. I can think of at least a half a dozen times in my 16-year career in real estate where I have completely stopped my lead generation, and then a period of time went by and I started back up again and I employed these strategies, and guess what? Within 90 days, I had income. Now, obviously, there's always ups and downs. Income is going to vary. You might have 3 closings one month and 5 closings another month. I'm not talking about those types of variations. I'm talking about just consistent income each month where you could at least close 1 transaction a month. That's 12 transactions a year. I shared with you when I started my real estate career back in 2005, and it was a very similar market to what it is today. I closed 36 transactions that year. And I've had some years where I've closed more and I've had some years where I've closed less. It always came down to my consistency with lead generation, which determined really how many closings I would have and how consistent they would come. So for those of you that maybe haven't seen one of my previous episodes, my name is Sean Policino. I work in the Los Angeles area as a real estate agent, which means I'm out actually meeting with buyers and sellers and investors and representing them in the purchase of real estate. And I'm a real estate agent. I also have a real estate team. Our team is, primarily based here in Southern California, but does stretch into other parts of the country, into two other states, as well as an organization with EXP. My company, my corporate partner is EXP Realty, and we build a organization much like a brokerage, but a virtual cloud brokerage, underneath us, much like you might think a broker would do, but this is based here under the broker of EXP. We are allowed to build a revenue share organization. So my goal is to have multiple streams of income, some of which are passive income, which means they show up each month. And I do the work and get paid much like an investor. So today we're going to talk about key skills that a real estate agent must master in order to stay in this business and really stay relevant. Many agents, in fact, you've probably heard me use the statistic, 90% of agents in real estate don't make it past a year. And the ones that make it past a year, 85% of them fail within 5 years. And we know this statistic to be true because board dues and MLS dues and the California Association of Realtor and the National Association of Real Estate, they all have dues, and those dues, agents stop paying them when they decide to quit the business. And so there's this market that we're coming into, there's going to be more agents leave the business, and there's going to create a vacuum on the other side, and it's going to be a great opportunity for the agents that stay in the business. So I'm going to share 5 strategies with you today that I believe are key. The magic pill, literally, you take this pill, you do these strategies, and you will have a consistent income. The first one is knowing what the 5 income generating activities are. There's all these things that come across your mind and across your desk when you're a real estate agent. We call them shiny objects. They're distracting. You have to focus on the 5 key income generating ones. And that's easy. Lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and practicing your scripts, your dialogues, and your presentations. That's your buyer presentation, your listing presentation, and I would suggest a commercial presentation. That way, when you're having conversations with people, if you have a commercial presentation, meaning you know the scripts and dialogues, you know the terminology, you're comfortable talking and presenting in a commercial and real estate environment, when that comes up in conversations with your clients, you're going to hear that and you're going to be able to act on it. Most agents don't. They skirt over it because they don't know, or they refer it to somebody else, and they don't actually capitalize on that income. So a commercial presentation is really important as well. So we'll go over those here in detail. Lead generation, that looks like you sitting down in front of your phone, in front of your computer, and lead generating for a period of time. Maybe you put a block of time of 2 hours into your calendar, and then you take a lunch break, and then you do another hour after that, and you take a short little break, and you do another hour after that. That would be 4 hours of lead generation in your schedule for that day. That covers number one, lead generation. And that means limiting all distractions, sitting down in front of a list of potential buyers or sellers and calling them. It could look like going out and actually door knocking in a neighborhood, looking for sellers and having conversations at the door. This would be considered lead generation. The definition of a contact, and real estate is a contact sport. The definition of a contact is a face-to-face or voice-to-voice conversation about real estate or asking for a referral. When you're making contacts, that is lead generation. Let's say hypothetically you talk to somebody at the door of a house while you're canvassing a neighborhood, and that person says, yeah, you know what? I'm not actually looking to buy a home, but my brother is. He's going to move into this area. He's coming from out of state and he's moving into the area. And I say to them, great, Mr. Client, could you introduce me to your brother? Share his contact information, then I can call and reach out and introduce myself to him. So this is a contact. We would count this and we would track it each day, and we would measure it month for the quarter and so on and so forth. This is what lead generation looks like, which is one of the first in the 5 income generating activities. Second one is lead follow-up. That looks like after you spoke to that person and the door and he gave you his brother's information, you went back to your CRM in the office and you put the notes in there and you scheduled a follow-up plan. You put in the brother's information and scheduled a call and actually called. That would be follow-up. We don't track lead follow-up the same way we do lead generation. We track that separately. So lead generation is the initial contact. Lead follow-up is the subsequent contacts, for example, that I'm giving you here with the brother, until I get the brother on the phone and find out what his time frame is to moving to California, and what kind of home he needs, and what kind of budget he has to spend, and whether he's been pre-qualified with a lender. All of this happens in that initial contact. If I call him 3 or 4 times later, that is lead follow-up. Still one of the income generating activities, still important, very important, because the fortune is in the follow-up. You may have heard the famous sales statistic that 80% of people require 12 or more follow-up attempts, and 96% of salespeople don't follow up more than 3 times. So you want to bridge that gap. And the way you do that is using a CRM. And I would suggest KV Core. That's the CRM we use at EXP. We get as part of our technology package. It has behavioral science, auto texting, core video, where you can leave text videos, and you can actually tell when they've opened the video as well. Very much like BombBomb. So the follow-up, you can use technology to give yourself an advantage, but you got to sit down, you got to schedule that follow-up in your schedule, and you got to make sure it gets done. And when you put these 5 activities into your calendar, we don't delete them. If something comes in front of them and you need to reschedule, then you move that lead generation block, you move that lead follow-up block, you move that block of practicing your scripts and dialogues. I make all of my 5 income generating activities in my calendar are set to green, because those are the money-making activities. And I don't delete them. I move them to a different place in the week. So by the end of the week, I've completed all of my activities. This is what the skill of time blocking looks like, and how this can support your goal here, which is to become a real estate agent with a predictable income, much like a salary. You know, that's a reason why a lot of agents get out of business, because it's unpredictable. It's really unpredictable because there's no consistency to their activities. And so I'm sharing with you the most important activities here, that magic pill for you to put these into your calendar and make sure they get done. So the third thing in the 5 income generating activities, you got lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments. So anytime you schedule an appointment from your lead generation, that goes in green, and you get to count those and track those appointments. Negotiating contracts. If you go on enough appointments, you're going to get buyer contracts and listing contracts, and hopefully commercial contracts. We're going to measure the number of contacts. We're going to track the number of contracts. Apologize. We're going to track daily the number of contacts, the number of appointments. Okay, we can even track the number of dials if you'd like, the number of appointments, the number of contracts that we actually get from that lead generation, and then finally the number of closings and the amount of revenue. We track these daily, weekly, and then monthly, even quarterly. Okay, so income, the 5 income generating activities is lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and then finally practicing your scripts and dialogues in your presentations. Excuse me. You've got to put the time in your calendar and then stick to your calendar. Diana Kokoska, a very popular real estate in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, the businesswoman of the year, #1 real estate agent for many years in Colorado, took over 160 listings in her last year of real estate before she retired. She used to say, it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. Sorry, get a little bit of water here, a little bit scratch in my throat. So it's important that you put these things into your schedule. It's important that you follow the schedule and you stick to it, and you don't let things distract you or interrupt you in that calendar, and that you limit the distractions. Okay, so #2. So I share with you the 5 income generating activities. It's all about putting these things into your schedule. The second thing I want to share with you today out of the 5 strategies is for you to figure out what your primary lead generation strategies are. There's over 50 different lead generation strategies. There's being part of a networking group. There's business to business. There's expireds. There's FSBOs, for sale by owners. There's farming. There's circle prospecting. We all have centers of influence. So there's sphere of influence. Pick 3 or 4 strategies. And I'm talking about separate from sphere of influence. Everybody has a sphere of influence. It goes without saying that we're not going to be a secret agent, and we're going to tap into our sphere of influence by letting them know what we're up to in the world of real estate as a real estate agent. And we're going to put that out on social media. We're going to do it by phone. We're going to do it by mail. Send them a personal note once a quarter. That's your sphere of influence. That is a strategy in itself, but everybody has that. What I'm talking about is picking 3 or 4 additional strategies, like calling expireds weekly, calling for sale by owners weekly, or maybe a farming routine weekly. All of these are a whole separate, I could do a whole separate video on each one of these strategies. What I'm saying here as the #2 strategy in how to create a predictable income is for you to come up with a strategy. Actually sit down on a piece of paper. If you'd like to private message me or direct message me, you can schedule an appointment with me. My links are below. If you'd like to schedule a free one-on-one session with me, if you'd like to call me, you can do that, 818-338-8787. You do that, and I will reward you. If you do any one of the things I just mentioned, I will reward you with a list of 50 different lead generation strategies that you can use. So what I'm saying is pick 3 or 4 from this list that you're committed to, that you have the tools to be able to pull off, that you have the scripts and dialogues to be able to pull off, and that you have the desire and the will, and you're willing to be consistent with these strategies. I just named a few of the 50. Okay, so running Facebook ads and running Google pay-per-click ad, these are strategies as well. So there's like I said, there's over 50 different ones that you can use. So the second strategy here that I'm sharing with you is to come up with what your primary lead generation strategies are going to be, max 3 or 4, and then remember, everybody has sphere of influence. So really that's your fifth, that's the one that everybody has, the sphere of influence. Okay, the third strategy here that you are going to want to utilize if you want the magic pill that'll make your real estate business soar, and that is to follow a schedule each day. Include all five of the income generating activities every day of the work week. Remember, think back when you were in high school. Okay, you got a schedule, you were told what class to be in, you were told what time to leave, the bell rang, and you went from one class to the next. This is the type of schedule that you want to follow in your work day. All of us have probably had jobs where we were responsible to a boss. We had a boss over our heads, under his thumb, and he told us when to come in and when to go home, and when to take lunch and when to take your breaks. You want to treat your real estate business as if you were working for somebody in the beginning until you can build. It takes 66 days to build a habit. So you want to do this consistently and treat it like you were still showing up for the job at JOB, except this time you own your business and you're actually building a business and possibly a legacy for your family. Okay, so the third strategy here that I'm going to share out of 5 strategies is to follow a schedule each day, include as many of the 5 income generating activities that I gave you in strategy number 1. And this is called the time block schedule. That's where you block out the time. So if it's going to take 10 hours to create a specific project, then you put those in blocks, chunks and blocks of time. And then you just make sure that you stick to your schedule using the 4 Ds. When something comes in front of your schedule, you first thing is you ask yourself, not say yes immediately, which is what most people do. It's you ask yourself, can I dump it or ditch it? Can I say no? And I want you to remember, you've got to say no, which is the next strategy I'm going to share with you. But the tool that you can use to master a time block schedule is the 4 Ds. That's dump it or ditch it, which means say no, delegate it to somebody else, do it another day, or do it now. And if you notice, do it now has the last one because it has the highest cost. So we want you to go through this thought process before you say yes to those other shiny objects that are out there. Because remember, you loaded your schedule on a Sunday for the following week with all of the activities, the 5 income generating activities, and all the things that you needed to get done. So if you say yes to something on a Wednesday, you're going to throw yourself off your schedule. So this skill is called time blocking. And again, a whole nother class, a whole nother video that I could do on time blocking, which I believe I've already done. Check out my YouTube channel, like and subscribe to it, and you'll get notified for future content. But if you check on my YouTube channel, there is a video on time blocking. And it takes 66 days to build this habit and master it. So the 4th strategy I'm going to share with you here today is saying no. This is the hardest thing for people to accomplish. Most of us want to say yes to people, especially if it's somebody that's asking you to do something, a client, and you feel attached to the possibility that there's a commission on the other end. And so that attachment has you saying yes to things that you should probably say no to, or possibly, like for example, going out and showing a buyer a property before you know they're pre-qualified. You're so attached to the commission, you overstep the fact of getting them pre-qualified. And I will say there is an exception to this. I will typically meet a client one time if they've told me that they're pre-qualified or that they're willing to get pre-qualified. This helps build the trust. So I'm saying the only exception to that is if you're meeting them for the first time, I would say then that's the same with the seller as well. If it's the subsequent times that we waste our time on doing it when we don't even know that the client is pre-qualified. This is a common thing that real estate agents do, is why I'm using it as an example. So saying no to the noise around you. Remember that real estate is a game where the results that from your activities today don't show up for 90 days. And a key factor to your success is the consistency. meaning you have to do consistent lead generation day after day after day. Now, does that mean you can never take a day off? No. Schedule your days off. If you're going to do an open house on a Sunday and you're going to take Saturday off, or if you're going to do Saturday and Sunday, you're going to take a Monday and a Tuesday off. However you decide to put it into your calendar is up to you. I'm not here to micromanage your calendar, but I'm saying that you have to have the 5 income generating activities. You have to stick to your schedule, and you have to make sure that you're set up for success and you don't let other things come in front of it that are less important or are going to throw you off of your goals. Okay. And you have to have a certain amount of real estate contacts to be able to do a certain amount of business. Again, a whole nother video that we could create on how to figure out, if I want to sell 30 homes, how many contacts and how many appointments do I need? That's called an economic model. And if you want to know more about that, pick up the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, written by Gary Keller. Yes, it was written in the late 80s, and I hear there's a revision coming out to it very soon, but the principles that are in this book still apply today. So go get the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, read the section on your economic model, and this will show you exactly how you can figure out down to the conversation, how many conversations you need to have in order to be able to sell a certain amount of real estate. So back to strategy number 4, saying no is the hardest thing for us to do. So you have to eliminate the noise around you, create this bunker mentality to where you can, avoid the distractions, building a website, designing your business cards, designing the next marketing piece. So these are all really important, and there is a place for these in your calendar. It's just outside of the 5 income generating activities. And I would say less of a priority over the 5. The 5 income generating are the highest priority activities that should be in your calendar. Okay, and the 5th strategy that I want to share with you today is a simple one. It's rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat strategies 1 through 4. Really, it's not like this. Once you've checked off box 1 and you've checked off box 2 and you've checked off that you're done with the list. No, it's go 1 through 4 and then start again with 1, and making sure every week. And the way I do this is a Sunday routine and an evening routine. Each Sunday, I look at my calendar for the entire week and I put in making sure I have enough of the 5 income generating activities, as well as all the other things that are on my to-do list. For example, maybe I'm having dinner with my wife. I put that in my calendar. If I'm scheduled to go visit some friends, go out to dinner with some friends, we put that in our calendar. If I'm going to go work out in the mornings, I put that into my calendar. Everything goes into my calendar in a time block fashion, making sure that my productivity while at work remains high, and all of those things are scheduled into my calendar as well. So strategy number 5 is rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I promise you, if you do these strategies over and over again, you will see your income go up and it will remain consistent. Will it fluctuate? It always will, because we can't control when buyers say yes and sellers say yes to an offer or to list their home. So you will have, 1 month might have one closing more than the other. But the thing is you want to have a consistent level of business, not whether that's 1 closing a month, 2 closings a month, 3 closings a month. I told you I sold 36 homes in my first year, and I've averaged about 37 homes a year every year for the last 16 years. So this is the consistency that I'm saying you can build into your business just by following these 5 activities. So I'm really excited that you joined me today, and I hope you keep watching the content. Please subscribe and like and share and comment, and let me know if there's more topics that you would like to know, you'd like me to do a video on. I'm totally open to the suggestions. Click the link below if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one appointment with me and hear why EXP could be a great fit for you. And if you're interested in being on the team, we have positions open in all 50 states. And I'm super excited that you spent the time with me here today, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. You can call me anytime, 818-338-8787. We will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye now.